Hi, Angie. Okay, this is your reading for today, and I chose Sonia's Transformation Oracle deck for your reading. I really like this deck. I feel really comfortable with it, and it's just the cards. They're beautiful, and they just popped right out. So what I did was a kind of an elemental balancing and group spread for you and what's going on with the group based on your question. So on the left side is referenced as your side, and then on the right side, the cards are referencing the other or the group. So first of all, what I noticed when I was looking at your side of things, it's interesting to me that all the cards were reversed versus all the cards are upright for the group. So that's somewhat interesting. And then looking at as far as balance, you have every element represented here. There's water, there's air, and fire. So we're talking about balance. And there's more emphasis, obviously, more on the fire side. So there's definitely a lot of activity and going on here. And then if we look over at the group side, we don't have a whole lot of balance. There's an imbalance there because we have a lot of fire and we do have one card of water. So it looks like, I mean, this will definitely, resolve and that they're going to cool off. So that's good. So let's start with your spread. So the first card upside down shows a girl and she's just kind of morose. She's not, really seeing. She just feels stuck. And I know it's difficult to see, but there is a spider web that's got, you can kind of see the web on her arms, on her, pants. And even though she's wearing a pink shirt, she's feeling stuck. She doesn't know what to do. Emotionally, it's just, there's not a lot of flow there. But what's also interesting is if you look at her, she's reflected in the water. So there's a mirror aspect here, but yet she's still refusing to see herself and that she's actually empowered and all she has to do is just stand up in love. I mean, and she's wearing a pink shirt. So when we're looking at that, the colors, for pink, it's heart-centered. But she's, just sitting in this muck, in this yucky water and, feeling stuck, doesn't know where to go. And again, she's been sitting there for a long time because obviously, there's spider webs on her. So I can see that you're feeling stuck with the situation. The next card is receptivity, and it's such a beautiful card, full of balance, full of light, full of love, being receptive to, messages that are coming in. This is also the element of air, which is our mental thoughts, but again, it's upside down. So to me, it's showing that, you're feeling stuck emotionally, not seeing or being open to other viewpoints. So you're not able to accept the message right now. And then if we look at the next card, which is renovation, usually what happens with renovation, this is such a beautiful card because you can see that this girl, this woman is, flinging around, she's dancing, she's celebrating, even though there's a lot of fire and a lot of activity in this card. And you can even see the planet Mars up in the corner. So yeah, so a lot of fight, a lot of activity. It reminds me of I think of a forest fire. So, when we're going through, difficult times and then, there's a lot of anger or a lot of energy, a lot of activity, it's clearing the way for something. It's purifying in a way. Fire is purification. So it's just like the forest fire, even though it's awful and there's a lot of energy and heat and anger, as the fire blazes through the forest. What's left afterwards often, it's paving the way for new growth. And that new growth is usually, it's fresh, it's very good. The animals come back, trees regenerate, different flowers come, into form, but we wouldn't have had any of that and a change in landscape and growth had we not had to go through the fire. So similar, to the phoenix. But this gal, she celebrates through all that. She's celebrating through the fire, through the growth, and rather than taking things so seriously and being bogged down, she's dancing in it. So it's like, okay, go ahead and throw whatever you want at me, life, but I'm just gonna go with the flow, and I'm gonna go with it, enjoy. And all right, so there's stuff going on, but I'm just, I'm gonna dance through it. But that card's upside down, so it's showing me that there's some rigidity there, and just not, going with the flow. And if you kind of just cut back, dance through it, see it for what it is, that it's wonderful opportunity for growth, for getting out of old patterns, so you can be more receptive and open to what's going on, and then you'll be empowered to actually get up out of that water and not feel so stuck. So the last card for you, liberation. And of course this reminds me of the Devil's card, but it's that we enchain ourselves, but we also have the power to break those chains and get up out of our situation and decide to just be empowered by it and liberate ourselves. But again, it's upside down, so that you're not feeling empowered to liberate yourself from this imposed situation. So you're enchained, essentially. So how can we help this? Well, you need to know that you have the power to take a look, and the courage to see what's really going on and look in the reflection. And when you're looking in a mirror, you're obviously looking at yourself, your old patterns, your old belief systems, your old emotions that may be coming up, old triggers that this is probably bringing up for you. And, with bravery, take a look at that, recognize it for what it is, and be like, okay, so these are my triggers coming up, my patterns, and that is okay. You don't have to fix it. You don't have to change it, but just accept it for what it is. Know that it's, things from your past that are coming up. It's, this old mess of cobwebs of thought and things that you have self-created. But you have that power to just go ahead and stand up through those emotions and through those triggers and move forward. Receptivity. So that requires, some mental skill, which you definitely have. You have power over your emotions. And as we know, people, places, situations, and things, we allow them, or we don't allow them to, knock us off our game. I mean, nobody can cause you to feel something other than you giving that, you taking that on yourself. Nobody, you're responsible for your thoughts, you're responsible for your emotions, and for how you react to those. You're not responsible for other people, and nor are you responsible for their emotions or their actions. However, obviously, it does trigger us, and this is a really good opportunity to be more receptive to maybe seeing their point of view and realizing that they're bringing their own stuff, their own baggage, their own triggers into the situation. And with love and light, as you can see with this gal here, she's very balanced. There's tons of color and energy there, and she's holding, the cup of receptivity in one hand, and it's kind of flowing up and around her. So she's also able to control, again, the situation or the outcome over the energy of it. So this is just a card telling you that, be in your own power, be more receptive, and, you can choose how you react and how the situation plays out. And, maybe, just send some love and light, to the situation. Dance through it. So there's some heat here, there's some fire, there's some anger. Really, the wanting is to fight. So much red, so much passion, so much orange here. So, this card of renovation, it's about new growth for you. And learning, more about, okay, so what's my emotional triggers? Where am I still stuck in the past? Why am I not taking the time to look and see myself in reflection and how this played out? And then being able to basically, with this card, transmute that like an alchemist into something beautiful and good and growth, also mentally and on the earth plane. And so this card, this is the way through that is, again, just dance through it. With a smile on your face, laugh. Okay, so things are on fire right now. Well, all right, I'm gonna dance around it, and I'm gonna bring out my cape and have a good old time, because that the universe has you, the universe supports you, and you're safe. And it's just about new growth. We always go through change in life, and that's what this is bringing to you. And it's a good thing. And all of this here, once you work through it, is going to liberate you from the chains of the past, from the chains of feeling stuck in old patterns, old triggers, because you know that you're empowered here as, a magician, as an alchemist, to, okay, I'm going to be receptive, I'm going to take in this information here, but I know that I hold the key or the cup or the energy to work with this. We're going to make it and turn it into something beautiful and something that we can use. And again, dance through it and celebrate that and use that energy, for good, to break yourself through these chains that have been holding you back. And it could be, we see this man here, and he's finally, looking and seeing the light. He's starting to feel liberated. It looks like he's starting to stand up. You've got the planets here also. So that's symbolic of, the past, symbolic of past karma. It could be past patterns that you're breaking through. But, you are empowered. And he's like, oh, I've had this, all along. I don't need to worry about these triggers, these patterns. I can choose for myself how I'm going to work with this. And, I'm not enchained by my past. I'm not enchained by my patterns. I'm not enchained by others, or myself or my thoughts, my emotions. And so, you know what? I'm going to be liberated. I'm going to grab that piece of light there and stand up and break my own chains. So that's where your power can come from. And you can change the situation around. So I'm going to move those cards. And I want to talk about the group. Okay. These cards, very interesting, because they came up upright. So when we look at their perspective, they, we see this child and he's around, he's playing, but he also has a magnifying glass. So, and again, if you look kind of in the corner, I don't know if you can see this, there's planets, but also some reflection. This is also kind of, glass can be a mirror as well, which is kind of interesting. So but this card usually, what it's saying is they're not seeing the full perspective. They're only seeing their own perspective. And when this card comes up, it's telling you or telling them that they need to see things from another point of view, not be quite so rigid, and like a small child, go out and just have fun, relax, play. We know as kids they can, be throwing a fit 1 minute, and then the next minute they're giggling and laughing and playing again, or if they fall down and scrape their knee, same thing. They're up, they're running. It's like the event never happened because they live so much in the moment. But here, with this kid, it's like he's only seeing and looking at one viewpoint, and he's really looking at it very closely and under, the magnifying glass, but under his own perspective. So he's only seeing, through this lens of his, their own perceptions, their own triggers, their own patterns, their own past, and not being playful and relaxed, and realizing that, if you just pull back a bit and, take away some of the magnification and look at the macro of what's really going on, they would have a different, there'd be a different perspective. This is also fire, so there's a lot of energy here too, and activity. And fire for them is definitely emphasized. And as you notice, they're coming from emotion, coming from a point of passion, but not necessarily logic. So this is telling me that it's all about, kind of fanning the flame a bit, but it's fanning the flame of emotions. It's based on emotions and not logic. So next card, we've got the Grace card. And Grace is all about divine support. It's about nourishment from the divine, from spirituality. You can see this beautiful woman. She's got a wedding gown of stars. She's in the cosmos. There's all this color and activity, and she's smiling and wanting to, you can just tell she just wants to twirl around in happiness, because she's connected cosmically. And there's a lot of passion in this card. It's a really beautiful card, but in the context here of what's going on, okay, so yes, there's some divine support, but with them not having tunnel vision, they're not seeing the full point of view, the broader perspective, the cosmic level. They're taking a very micro view of the situation, which definitely distorts and colors what's going on, because they're not seeing the bigger picture. And this is also a lesson for them, a lesson for spirit, but also, with Grace, she's also saying, hey, you have divine support, you have divine love, you have nourishment to get through this. The next card is the Strengthen card, and as you can see, we have a Native American, and he is on the hunt, and he's got one focus, and that's one buffalo. And if you see that there, also another mirror image, which is interesting, and of reflection, but there's also a rainbow in the background. He needs to become one with what he is seeking. So the buffalo becomes a target from the herd. And this is the particular buffalo that he is hunting. But in order to get that buffalo, you have to become the buffalo. You have to seek that first spiritually and call it into you before you can actually be empowered in strength to take on the features of, the sacred animal. So, again, this is a card of fire, of passion. You could see that they're really focused on one, particular animal from the herd, and one singular focus. So with their training, they're going after the buffalo. But even though they're planning on going after the buffalo, and by buffalo, I am relating that with you as a target. It's a singular target, and they have a singular focus, but you have to become one. And also, this is saying, again, with the reflection, you got to understand and respect the buffalo, the point of view, the spirituality of it. We know in Native American societies, when they, selected food, or they selected a particular animal from the herd, they used the whole animal. There was no waste, and there was focus and intent, and a lot of passion and fire, but they were also at one with that buffalo. So really what this card is showing, I mean, this Indian is very intent. And look, there's, again, there's a spider web up in the corner. So, it's about, coming into your own strength. But the way you do that is, again, releasing your old patterns, releasing the past, and moving. Because this particular Native American, we'll say, is stationary right now, stuck in some of the past patterns, past belief systems, maybe some fear about going about the goal and not seeing the beauty of the animal and everything that's going on spiritually here. So I hope that makes sense. But in order to be in their strength, even though there's a lot of activity here and passion, in order to find that strength, you have to work through it spiritually and call in the buffalo and become one with the buffalo, which means that you've got to be able to relate with the buffalo and not have that tunnel vision that's going on here. And it's, again, all fueled by emotion. But even though there's a lot of passion going on, a lot of looks like angst to me, and fire and fight, it's going to cool off, and there's going to be cause for celebration. So this is also part of their growth as well. So here's the celebration card. You can see there's just a bunch of kids, and they're getting together, having a good time. They need to relax and just enjoy and not take things so seriously. And especially with this kid, because he's really, taking things very, very seriously and needs to be more playful. So that's what I'm kind of seeing with the group. If I look at everything overall, it looks like because of your, I want to say, gifts, spiritually, what you're bringing to the table as the buffalo here, they're not able to see your viewpoint and where you're coming from. So that's why they're not, in strength, because they're only seeing their perspective, which is based on their old patterns, their old belief systems, their own fears, and not looking at this from a cosmic level, a divine level. It's also growth for them. But when you're looking at celebration and you're looking at grace, there's passion there and emotion and definitely care, but there's no playfulness, and that's what the cards are saying here. They're so stuck and stationary and kind of almost paralyzed and not really moving, even though there's a lot of passion going on here with the fire, in the card, and a tunneled target or a zoomed in target and focus. But the card is saying, hey, you need to relax, you need to be more playful, cool down, the passion and the emotion that's going on here. And yeah, even though you can still take a micro perspective, they need to see the more broadness of what's going on here and the beauty of it, and that this is all for, cosmic growth, and it's for them as well. So it's telling you, hey, relax, chill out. You need to calm down and go out and have some fun. This card, celebration, go out and with your peeps and have some drinks, enjoy dinner, relax, laugh, have a good time, play, and quit being quite so focused. And again, you can even look at these two. He's really, really focused, and so is he. Very focused on his target. But the thing is, when you're being so focused outwardly, you're not focusing inwardly. So that's what's going on here with the group. They're so focused on what's going on with on the outskirts of that. They're not looking within and realizing that there's old patterns and old triggers and old ways of being that they're not wanting to see. So they're not looking at themselves. They're looking outside of themselves. But there is grace here, which is really beautiful, and that means that there's a lot of support, especially spiritually, cosmically. And so I think what happened here is you're the catalyst, for this spiritual growth for them, and trying to show them that they need to take another perspective. They need to broaden their perspective again, it's okay to look at the micro, but you still need to be aware of the macro and what's going on. And instead of being controversial or adversarial towards your target here, which is, I think you are symbolized as the buffalo, they need to take a look in the mirror, in the reflection of really what's going on, and just, dance in the light of it. Relax. And again, when you're seeking something, or when maybe they're jealous, maybe they're envious, feeling threatened in some way, rather than seeking to, go after it, destroy it, be angry, or looking outside of yourself, they're not, they're just not seeing the broader picture. And so, but that's going to come through for them, because they need to release their tunnel vision, their own viewpoint, look at things from a broader perspective, and have fun with it and play, and not take things so seriously. Because really, in the big grand scheme of things, cosmically, is this really, important? I don't see it. It's saying relax. Same with the Grace card. Go with the flow, have fun. She's my God, she's beautiful. She's a bride. She's happy. She's wearing a gown of stars. It's cosmic. So beautiful. So, by taking a more broader perspective and being in a state of grace, rather than, maybe a state of judgment or tunnel vision focus, single line focus, then they can more be able to recognize what beauty the buffalo is bringing into the situation, what lessons, how can, working with the buffalo or calling in buffalo spirit in a spiritual way, how can that, bring them back into a state of grace, and a state of playfulness, and where they can celebrate and have fun. So yeah, there's a lot of buffalo energy here, and I know, and this is, a very earthy card, very earthy card. And I know that you know about buffalo symbology, so that seems very appropriate. So if they, take a more broader perspective, know that they're supported by spirit, by the cosmos, that this is for their cosmic growth, and trying to show them that they need to be more celebratory, and, just relax, have fun, become that inner child again, quit being the judgmental adult. Then they'll be able to get into their own strength and find what they seek, and do it in a very harmonious, beautiful way. But when they refuse to, again, take a look at their own reflection or their mirror, or really what's going on here, and it's the same, with the mirror there, that's being blocked, and it's being blocked by their own emotions. So, like I said, I do show that this is going to cool off. Let me do one more card. Let's draw one more card to see how this will resolve. Okay, so we have innocence. So, this card shows me that it's all about, emotion, but you have a mother here, which is basically the cosmos holding up a baby that's innocent, that's everything is fresh and new and exciting, and you can see that the little baby is just totally enthralled by the sun, and the sun is energy, but this has also got a lot of Mars too. But we have the element of water. But this says, okay, so we've got this innocent baby here, taking really focused on the sun and what that brings to the forefront, but it's showing that there's definitely support, and that by looking at things, from an innocent point of view, and like that child, with childlike wonder, there's safety there. So this is actually looks like a very cosmic growth situation for both parties. But what Spirit wants you to know is that even though there's a lot of activity going on, a lot of passion, a lot of emotion behind what's going on, Spirit's got you. And be like that innocent child, and have fun and play in grace, and seek your own strength so you can celebrate this new growth period, because that's what it is, and it's about changing old patterns, changing perspective. Even though you recognize old patterns, you can still choose how you're going to move forward with that. And instead of being so focused in tunnel vision, have fun with it, play with it, be like that innocent child again. And then that's going to lead to liberation, which is self-imposed chains, from the past, from past patterns, from triggers. You can, go ahead, live it up, renovate, celebrate, and know that this is paving the way for new, wonderful growth. It's paving the earth, essentially, for seeds of growth. And then that's going to lead to more openness with receptivity. And again, you just have this beautiful way of being balanced also in logic, but being able to work with the energies and transmute it into a way that's best and for the highest good of all. And that's what this card shows, so you can get unstuck. So I hope that helps. I really enjoyed the reading, and thank you for the honor of giving you a reading. And I would love your feedback. So when you have a chance to, kind of absorb this, give me some feedback. Let me know how this feels for you. Are the cards spot on? What do you think? What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? And, how is this reading for you? So, thank you, and I love you tons, and wishing you all the best, and just know that this will resolve itself. Things are going to cool down. Be in your own empowerment, and you are completely loved and held in grace and support by the universe and by spirit. So, love you.